coaches about football.
This is a simple game.
We're going to run the ball, and we're going to pass the ball. We're just going to play football, really.
How good of a football player are you?
I just get in and try to spin it. That's all.
I just love the game.
It really is the best time of the year.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the set of It's Just Football. I'm Trevor Sikkema. That is Mike Renner joining you guys on a Friday, getting you ready for the weekend in the best way we possibly can. This episode's jam-packed. Mike's going to eat super hot peppers because he lost the bets for Thursday Night Football last night. Let's go.
I went 2 and 3.
I went 3 and 3, baby.
Know.
We're going to revisit it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're also going to sell you on a lot of games that we see on the upcoming slate this weekend. We're going to give you some secret superstars that we think are going to break out. We got Ian Hartitz talking about fantasy football, and then we'll get you out of here with a very fun way to bet the NFL this weekend with a new partner that we have. So I'm very excited about that as well. Mike, how are we feeling this morning?
Feeling good.
Nervous about the peppers?
No, not nervous at all.
How do you do with spice?
I'm pretty good. I put like hot sauce on most things I eat. I like spicy food.
Okay.
So I can handle it pretty well. I haven't had like real hot in probably I think it's been like 4 years since I've gone like hot. Ghost pepper plus in terms of actually trying something that's that level. And I did a shot of, I believe it was ghost pepper hot sauce.
Ugh,
ended up puking, so hopefully that's not the case here on the set.
So that was the last.
My last experience. So
everybody has that breaking point, you know.
Yeah, and it was more like I puked to get it out of me. I was like, I don't want to feel what's going to happen over the next half hour to 24 hours. So I was like, just let it out.
Well, hopefully you puke live on set because that would be fantastic content. And I just tagged the social team in it the entire time that we would be watching that show. What's up to everybody who is watching here live? I don't think Mike's going to puke, but you are going to get to see him probably tear up a lot and try to get through his NFL analysis. Just like the show Hot One. Shout out one of the best that is out there. Hope you guys are enjoying your Friday. Shout out to Safety 30, our chat champ from yesterday. Man. Held it down in trivia, ended up getting a tie. Still kind of bitter about it, but you know what? We'll get the win next week.
We won.
We'll get the win next week. I'm not worried about it. Let's say what's up to everybody in the production suite to get the show kicked off and have a little bit of trivia talk. What's going on, fellas? How we doing today? Eli, you got the Eli. Oh man, they upgraded Eli to the mic.
I know, it's big time today.
Dang. If you really mess up, Quinn's just right there. He's just gonna smack you in the back of the head.
Exactly.
So he's right there for you.
It's low risk, high reward for him.
So who's the question of the day today? Is it from you or is it from Quinn?
Quinn's got it, but I'm going to be saying it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Are you guys ready?
Yes, we are ready for question of the day.
The Jaguars play in London again this Sunday, including this week's matchup against the Broncos. How many games will the Jaguars have played in London?
Oh man, this is great.
Half of them. Just total up all the London games. I think it's. Let's see. When did they start London games? This is a good.
Wasn't it like 2008?
Was it? Okay. So
I think it was a long time ago. Let me look this up. First London game NFL.
So I know they played
2007.
They had a that's kind of cheating to look it up, but
I will say 2008.
Once like Shad Khan kind of took over. When was that? 13, 14, somewhere around there.
I don't know.
They agreed to play like every year. They've been there every year since, I believe, was their intention. So I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of 10, 11.
I was going to guess 8.
Okay.
I'm going to guess 8.
Okay. I'll say 10.
Because you're playing one a year, even from 2007. They weren't the first team that played in 2007. I don't think they were the second team that played in 2008.
Okay.
So if we're starting from 2009, I cannot remember if they played in 2009. But, that's 11 years, 12 years? No, I guess it would be 13 now. But still, 8 out of 13 years that they would play in London? Yeah, that's a lot.
But they, like I said, once he took over, once he became owner, they did it every year. They've done it, or they decided at some point during his tenure to go every single year. So, yeah, I'll say 10. I think I like 10. Do we break the news that's taking over right now on Twitter?
Do you wanna start refresh the timeline with this news?
Yeah, let's do it.
Go ahead.
Tom Brady, Giselle.
Officially.
It's over.
Damn.
Kicking a man while he's down.
It's tough.
Losing to the Panthers, losing to the Bucs.
Dude, losing to Steelers, losing to the Panthers.
Papers.
Man, it's tough, man.
That's rough.
It's tough, man. I do look. I don't know anything about what's going on behind the scenes about Brady's marriage, and there's a lot more that goes into relationships than just like, is he playing football? Is he not playing football? There's a lot more that goes into it, but all troll aside, this obviously sucks for the dude. He's going through it on the field. He's going through it at the facility. He's going through it when he has to deal with the media. He's going through it with the fans, and now obviously he's going through it at home too.
Well, that's the thing. That does kind of stink. He's not physically cooked, right? Like he is not. Like his arm, we saw that throw to Julio week 1, 60-plus yards down the field. He has not lost that aspect. But what made Brady was a lot of the between-the-ears aspect. And when you're going through personal issues like this, and this publicly, it's impossible to still be the same guy you were when you were racking up Super Bowl rings. So it has to feel for him. But, yeah, they maybe – they're lucky they're in the division they are because they're not out of it. But
no, they're not out of it. They're not out of it. I don't know, man. Obviously hope the best for both of them, not just because I'm saying that as a Bucs fan and I would like for the team to play better, but like genuinely hope the best for all of them involved. Obviously they have a family and they have kids, and so like I just hope that the whole situation is what it needs to be, to where both parties and the entire family can move on, be happier. Clearly this was a move that you make, as is any divorce, to get out of an unhappy situation and into a better one. So that's kind of really all I have to say about that. Hopefully Tom is in a better place. Hopefully Giselle is in a better place. Hopefully the family can be in a better place too. Something that we do need to talk about on the football field, Ja'Marr Chase, hip injury. Was this out of nowhere? Like, I didn't think he was missing that much time.
It was kind of out of nowhere because it happened on the play that everyone saw, right, where he kind of took a false step, misstep, running a go route, and limps, goes down the ground, take him off the field. But he came back in the game and played snaps after that. And the rumor going around Cincy, apparently he was seen going to a hip specialist in Cincy earlier this week. And 6 to 8 weeks, also the other rumor is that might be on the conservative side. That is him coming back. He may miss the season with this injury. Obviously, hip is a very tricky injury to navigate because it's very important to running, if you may not know.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Ja'Marr Chase, it's a different offense without him. He is the explosive element to it. You know, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, fantastic combo themselves. They don't run the 4-3s. They don't take the top off the defense the way Ja'Marr Chase takes the top off the defense.
Right.
So going to be a difficult guy to replace. We've obviously seen, or this was kind of one of the talks we said early in the season, is that, yeah, this is the best trio of wide receivers in the NFL. They might have the worst fourth wide receiver in the NFL, though, also. So they're in a tough spot now, this offense, with this injury.
At the Browns, hosting the Panthers, at the Steelers, at the Titans, hosting the Chiefs, and then hosting the Browns again in those next 60 games that they have. So not the worst, but certainly not the best either, with a couple of the road games that they have there. And then obviously you're facing the Chiefs at the beginning of December. There's no doubt about it, though, if this team, when we had them number 4 in our power rankings, you've got to have Ja'Marr Chase to achieve that, of being a top 5 team in the NFL, getting you that offense that we said, that kind of projection there. Another refresher timeline. This is news that broke, I think, like late last night. Rumor is out there right now that the Eagles are now trying to go after Alvin Kamara as well. So the Eagles feel like they are all in, right? They made a ton of different moves this offseason. They went and got James Bradbury. They got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They drafted Jordan Davis, right? They went and got A.J. Brown. So many different moves that they made to vault them to the position that they're in as one of the best teams in the NFL. They go out and trade for Robert Quinn, and now maybe they're not done. But, Mike, I'm not going to lie, man. As much fun as trade speculation is, there's no way, right? There's no way they're going to get Kamara.
I mean, he'd be an upgrade, sure.
But what would the Saints? How would the Saints do this deal? Unless it was for the pick. So somebody threw out there that the Saints want the first-round pick that they traded to the Eagles, which would be the dumbest thing of all time if the Eagles did that. That's like buying a lottery ticket for $10, winning the lottery, and then going, nah, actually, just give me my $10 back. I'll just get the $10.
Well, at this point with your roster, I think you'd take about anything for Kamara, right? Like you're in need of the picks. Obviously, Kamara's been such a big part of your offense, but I think going forward, you're going to have to make some hard decisions, some hard cap decisions, and especially with the big contracts they have. Parting ways to running back, we would say, probably not the worst thing in the world.
Quell said, got words from a reliable source that this probably won't happen. Alvin Kamara to Philly is fun to talk about, though. So we got sources.
Yeah,
in the chat. Quell's got the sources.
Go over Howie Roseman's sort of tenure, lower value positions. He has not been willing to give up a lot for. Now, if it's a 4th, 5th rounder, similar to the Jay trade they made Super Bowl year, sure, I could see that. I think that was a 3rd rounder. What he gave up for Jay, maybe a 4th. But something like that, sure. But you're not getting your first-round pick back, Rose. That'd be insane.
No. That's absolutely silly. Daniel said, how sad was Trevor at the beginning of the show? Oh, Daniel, we haven't even gotten to that yet, my guy. Last refresh the timeline, and this is a good transition into everything else that we're doing. Justin Tucker on the plane afterwards. I think all that was missing was him slamming down a Danger Witch sandwich. I think we have the video of them in the plane on the way back from Tampa. After
this guy. Let's talk to us a little bit, J Tuck.
I mean, what do you want to know? What are we doing on the plane ride back home? I heard Lamar's leading us in high knees. Ravens flock, let's fly.
Unlimited.
The lean back.
Yes.
We like it.
The lean back. The one leg over the other. The looking out the window. Like he was ready for that one. He practiced that one.
Okay, there's two things here in my opinion. One,
okay, what is it?
This is all-time low for Russ Wilson. If you're getting clowned by a kicker, and the world is on the kicker side, you're down bad.
I mean, the go kicker.
The go kicker, though, that's the other thing. Two, no kicker in the NFL besides Justin Tucker could have done this. No one has that sort of cachet to pull that off because no one has the reputation that Tucker has to warrant, roasting a multi-time Pro Bowl quarterback, Super Bowl winner, and getting away with it. So, hats off to him.
That's a good transition into how we are going to recap what we saw on Thursday Night Football. Help me here. We had bets.
Yes, we did.
We had bets from yesterday's show on Thursday Night Football. We bet the spread, we bet the over-under, and then we got a prop bet in there. We both took Baltimore. Mm-hmm. We got that one. We got both of our prop bets right as well. I got Brady over 25.5 completions. You got Lamar under 9.5 carries. But in the over-under, I got you, baby.
I know.
Backdoor covered.
God damn it.
Backdoor Brady.
I actually missed it. I went to bed before the end of the game. Tucker kicks the field goal. I'm like, okay, it's over. I don't need to worry about this. I'm not even thinking about the bet whatsoever. Backdoors it. Brady goes over the completions to backdoor it. One play just cost me 2 peppers. So
all right, that means it's time to pay up. I don't know if we have pictures of these peppers, dude. They're dried out now. You are screwed.
At least they're small. I'm not chomping into a.
We don't
pepper.
have. I don't know if I can properly show this. I don't know if you guys can see it because it's completely white, but you can see. I mean, maybe a little. So
do I have to chew it?
It's
can
literally
I just house it?
Two pieces of these peppers that somebody at PFF grew. Rick Drummond, shout out. I tried both of these yesterday. Was it yesterday? The day before?
2 days ago, I think. Hot.
They're a lot.
Yeah.
They're a lot. So now you got to pay up. You got to eat them now.
Which one was hotter? Do you know? Do we have names for these?
I think
bad boys.
One of them is Pineapple Express or something. I don't know.
That sounds like.
Yeah.
You know what that sounds like.
Of course. And then the other one is I want to say Terramana, but that's the Rock's tequila, so it's not that.
Yeah,
that's the hotter one.
I would do. That's the hotter one.
That's the hotter one.
Let's build up.
That's the hotter one.
Yellow.
Okay.
That's already pretty hot. Not even gonna lie, I could feel that. Wow. Okay. Do I break between? No, just go for it.
That's the hotter one.
Okay.
All right, so you got to try to get through it now. I'm gonna make you.
Let's break it down.
I'm gonna make you just like hot ones, just like Sean Evans. I'm now gonna put you on the spot after you take a bite of the wing.
It wasn't that bad.
We've got some stats that matter. You tell me some stats that matter from the game.
Okay, my stats that matter.
Yep.
I gotta go back to thinking here.
Well, that's the point of it.
First one. 73. That was the yards after contact.
Okay.
For Gus Edwards. He had 65 rushing yards. He was hit on the backfield on average in this game. Still went 465 yards in this game. Him in that backfield, a massive win for them because he's kind of the ethos, right? He is that big bruiser, tackle breaker who is going to grind out, keep you on schedule as an offense. Getting him back last week, I think, is a huge key for them going forward. We're saying running backs don't matter,
You're
whatever.
Right
Some
now.
running backs matter.
You're kind of sweating
Gus
right now.
Edwards is one of them. And the other one, 20. I am sweating, actually. I kind of hate this. Missed tackles by the Bucs defense.
You're keeping it together well, though, but I know it's hurting.
You are not going to win many games in the NFL if you miss 20 tackles in a game. Over a quarter of the tackles attempts they had in this game, they missed. That's awful. That right there, obviously down a ton of members in their secondary. 3 starters in their secondary. That's going to play a big role in that. But Devin White, woof, you'll get to his stats a little bit more.
I'm going to get to that. Daniel in the chat said Gus Edwards, dog.
Yeah.
And then whoever's running the social media in the chat for the main account said Mike Renner, dog. Yeah, now you're hammering water. Now you're into it.
I just took a little.
You kept it together.
Yeah, those weren't too bad. I mean, they're hot for sure.
I'm proud of you. He said, "Wash your hands immediately." Yeah, watch the eyes. Yeah. Don't be messing with the eyes. Don't also wipe your hands with that.
Throw this away.
Don't do that. Yeah. Right. Then get that the hell out of here. Okay, my stats that matter. Folks, Devin White was unplayable last night. I don't know what to tell you. Whether it was his performance of getting absolutely bulldozed by Tyler Linderbaum, who is a good offensive lineman. I don't want to make it seem like Tyler Linderbaum's a scrub. Tyler Linderbaum is a fantastic offensive lineman. But Devin White's out in here getting praised as one of the best linebackers in the NFL. National media has lied to you guys, has lied to you since the Super Bowl. He had a really good stretch during the Super Bowl in which exactly what he does, which is be an uber athletic linebacker who can attack the line of scrimmage and who can get to the sideline for tackles. He was able to show that the most in the Super Bowl because the entire rest of the defense around him was playing at an elite level. The whole rest of the group was fantastic, and it freed up Devin White to be able to almost see ball, get ball, almost to be a bull seeing red. And that's what he is best at doing. When you've seen him over the last 2 years have to play discipline, he cannot do it. Time and time again, he cannot do it. If you look at his numbers since the Super Bowl, okay, I know people get on PFF grades all the time, but we don't miss this badly, okay? When you look at his numbers since the Super Bowl, 55.3 overall grade, 28.6 run defense grade, 41.8 coverage grade. That's bad. You saw all of that last night. And not only was the tape bad when he was out there, the effort was terrible. If somebody wants to come in and tell me that Devin White was hurt, if you're hurt that badly from what we saw last night, let somebody else play. And if you're not hurt, holy cow, that's embarrassing. The effort that he put out on tape last night was unplayably bad. They could have easily benched Devin White last night and it would have been justified. You could trade him at the deadline and it'd probably be justified. I don't think they're going to do either of those things because they drafted him number 5 overall, but he is without a doubt a liability in that defense right now. Stop. I don't blame Kirk because Kirk, he has to cover things from a national perspective, and it's tough to really get in the weeds, especially when a national narrative is as strong as the Devin White one was. But Kirk was saying last night on the broadcast, he was like, man, Devin White, one of the better linebackers in the NFL. And unfortunately, he just has not been. He just hasn't been. And you saw it probably at its worst last night.
Yeah, first off, very impressive rant. That was I was sitting over here in awe of that. You were going off. Secondly,
how do you get off my chest?
It's like he didn't get the scouting report on Tyler Linderbaum. You have the most athletic center maybe in the NFL, him and Jason Kelce, 1, 2, whatever order you want to put him in. And he just let him get right on him every single time. Didn't try to play with power, just thought he could out athlete Tyler Linderbaum. You're not going to. And obviously saw Tyler Linderbaum have a great game. Devin White have another.
Unfortunately, Devin White had a Devin White game. I don't know how else to say it at this point. This is kind of like who he has been in his career. He will make the splash plays for you, sure, but Lord, the in-between on those splash plays are a complete liability to this defense. The missed tackles that you mentioned, a lot of them were Devin White.
Yep.
And a lot of them continue to be Devin White, and he continues to be out of place and overcommitted on the run, and we need to move on. Time of possession is the other stat that matters that I want to get to because, again, it highlights what the Bucs are not able to do. A lot of people look at the offense and they go, oh, what's the problem? Is the offensive line, is it Brady? The wide receivers aren't there. They can't move the ball. They can't do what they need to on offense. For as much as we here are, of course, pro passing the ball more than running the ball, the EPA is much higher. It is more advantageous when you do those things. You do have to have a run game. You have to be able to hand the ball off. You have to be able to control the time of possession, and you have to be able to control your side of the ball when you have it. When you look at some time of possession stats last night, Ravens held the ball for 38 minutes and 21 seconds. Bucs had it for just 21 minutes and 37 seconds. That is drastically different. Bucs defense versus the Ravens defense, that should be 74 plays, not 47. The Bucs defense played 74 snaps last night. No wonder they're gassed at the end of the game. No wonder they're gassed in the middle of the third quarter. It's because, then you look at the final stat right there, the run game. They have the worst EPA per rush in the NFL by far. This is a team that cannot control the football. They cannot run it. No matter what situation it is, whether it's 2nd and long, 1st and 10, 3rd and short, doesn't matter. This team cannot win at the line of scrimmage when they're running the ball. And they will never be a good offense if that run game cannot get to an at least serviceable level. And right now, it is not just not serviceable, it is putrid. That's what we're looking at with the Bucs.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to do more in the screen game. 7 screens yesterday, trying to make that your running game, saying, hey, we know handing it to running back stinks. Let's hand it to our wide receivers. Maybe let them do something. But to me, there's no skirting around being that bad in the rushing game. There's really, it's just going to make you inconsistent week to week.
That was therapeutic for me. Appreciate you giving me the time and the ability to do that. Let's talk about better things. Let's talk about the week ahead. Let's talk about the games that are still to come with an exercise that we have done here on this show before. It's called Sell Me This Pen. It is a play on Wolf of Wall Street, of course, where he goes up to someone and wants to see how good of a salesman they are and says, sell me this pen. So, Mike, when you look at this upcoming slate of games for the rest of Week 8, sell me on a game here.
I'm going to sell you on Cardinals at Vikings.
Okay.
I'm going to sell you on the Cardinals side of this because they've been very unwatchable at points throughout this season. Vikings, obviously, top of the NFC North. Easy to see why you'd want to watch their game. But the Cardinals, one, DeAndre Hopkins came back this past week. And the offense looked completely different. Had far and away their highest EPA per play of the season. And on top of that, they deployed DeAndre Hopkins in a different way than they've deployed him through his entire Arizona Cardinals career. Instead of statically lining him up at left wide receiver, which they've done in the past, and having him run vertical go routes, he was a slot weapon in this offense, turning him into, everyone talks about the Cooper Kupp role. That's what they were throwing him out there as in that Arizona Cardinals offense. The one that Greg Dortch was getting so many targets in early on this season. That's now DeAndre Hopkins. 27 snaps in the slot. I'm very intrigued to see if that is a sign of things to come and is a sign of a new-look Cardinals offense that's just going to be more effective and more consistent than the offense we saw early in the season. And then the last point, Call of Duty came out today. Kyler Murray, noted Call of Duty stan.
Enthusiast.
Will he have his head in the game?
That's true. You and I looked this up. It is a road game. So it's not like he's not at his not his house, not at his apartment, but obviously I think Kyler's probably got a portable setup, but is he setting it up in the hotel? I don't know. If it was at home, I'd be a little bit more nervous for it, but I am very intrigued to see how they're going to use DeAndre Hopkins because that has been a big talking point, I guess I'll say, of you trade for this asset and you're kind of boxing him into just doing only one thing for you. And I feel like DeAndre Hopkins is good enough of a wide receiver where he can do plenty of different things for you. He has his strengths, and you want to put him in his lanes, if you will, to succeed in this offense. But I think you can diversify it a little bit more than we've seen over the last couple of years. So, all right, you sold me on it. I am very intrigued to see what they're going to do, at least with DeAndre Hopkins. I think we're going to be okay with the Kyler Murray Call of Duty thing, but I am interested to see what that is like. I'm going to sell you on Panthers-Falcons. And the reason why I'm going to sell you on Panthers-Falcons is because, Mike, somebody from the NFC South is going to the playoffs. Yeah. Somebody is. And if the Falcons win this football game, they are in sole possession of first place in the NFC South.
If the Panthers win, they're in too. They're sole possession too.
Tiebreaker
possession.
They're right there with the rest of the teams, but
they would have the tiebreaker though if they win.
Would they?
Yes, they
over
would.
Both Tampa and Atlanta?
Because they would have beaten both. Yeah.
So then the Panthers get to go to first place if they win this game as well. Another thing about this game, if you look forward a little bit, Falcons' strength of schedule, easiest in the NFL moving forward. Panthers' strength of schedule, 30th, which is third easiest. This game is huge, man. Whoever gets into first place, they have two of the easiest schedules in the NFL left. The Carolina Panthers fired their head coach 2 weeks ago. They traded away their best offensive player. They were full on, let's be bad, and if they win this week, they're in first possession. Or they're in first place in the NFC South.
Yeah.
This is a scenario where, unless it's Tampa, if Tampa wins this division, obviously it's kind of like what was expected for where that roster currently is. But if the Panthers or the Falcons win this division, you understand how bad that would be for them draft position-wise? They're probably going to finish maybe 500 at best. And so it's one of those things where you always see it. If the team, this was like the NFC East, I think a couple years ago, where the team that was currently winning the division was picking 20th. Right? Because they're making the playoffs.
And if
they lost, they'd be a top 10 team, which is a massive swing. So all of a sudden, I'm just saying, we could look back on this Falcons-Panthers game as a massive swing point for where these teams are drafting, because both of them still want to be drafting high, I think.
Yeah, I'm sold. I'll be watching the game. The other one I will try to sell you on is Patriots at Jets. One, because anytime the second-year quarterback class, the 2021 quarterback class faces off against each other, I'm intrigued. I'm watching. With how hyped that quarterback class was, I want to see it. We're going to have to talk about them at some point, though, because Davis Mills is still the highest-graded one of that class. And two, Zach Wilson's been a bit of a roller coaster since he came back from injury early on this season. Started off hot. Started off getting the fans hyped. 69.1 grade against the Steelers, 81.9 against the Dolphins. Last 2 weeks, 35.5 against the Packers, 45.0 against the Broncos. And his splits under pressure versus clean pocket are insane. Unlike anything I've ever seen at the quarterback position in our 15 years now of NFL grading. 89.6 under no pressure, kept clean. He's an elite quarterback from the pocket when he's not under pressure.
Wow.
When he's under pressure, he has found no answers in this offense.
Wow. That is drastic.
And that was one of the words coming out of BYU. He played behind the best offensive line in college football. Or most effective offensive line in college football. He just was never under pressure. And so a super talented dude. I am worried about how that's going to progress going forward. If we're going to see a split like that or anything moderately like that, you're not a starting quarterback in the NFL. You're going to face too much pressure at points over the course of the season to do so. So excited to see how, the GOAT defensive mind, Bill Belichick, plays against a quarterback like that.
I did not realize those numbers were that drastic.
Insane.
That is why. But it is. It lines up to exactly what we were talking about of him pre-draft. Behind an offensive line that it was like he was playing in a fantasy land where he would just hike the ball and just do whatever he wants. Wait 5-6 seconds.
It was,
and then just fire it downfield to whoever was, 50 yards downfield who he thought was going to be open.
It was like recess.
That's a great way to put it. You should evaluate the draft.
If only.
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. The other game that I'm looking forward to that I want to sell you on is Bengals-Browns. And we touched on it at the tab when we brought up Jamar Chase at the very top of the show. But the reason why everybody needs to be watching this game is because of what we did on this very show on Monday. We had the Cincinnati Bengals as the fourth best team in the NFL. When that offense is humming the way it has been recently, especially since week 2, you look at Joe Burrow playing at an MVP level, you look at him spreading the ball around evenly and correctly, I would say, to those three wide receivers, and T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Tyler Boyd. What does it look like without Chase? Because Chase's numbers since week 2. Yeah, since week 2. 422 yards, which is 3rd. Receptions, he's got 32, which is 7th. Receiving touchdowns, he's got 5, which is 2nd. And he's got an over 20% wide receiver usage in this offense, as you would expect. What does this team look like without Jamar Chase? I think that is what is really, really important here, because best case scenario, when this team is fully healthy, they can compete with anybody. You even said on the show on Monday, they actually have a chance, a puncher's chance against teams like the Bills and the Chiefs. But will they be able to survive this time without Jamar? Will they be able to get through it, win even half of their games without him, and then still be able to get hot when the playoffs roll around? So I think that this game against the Browns, it's a winnable one. I know it's on the road. I know it's kind of sudden. This is the first game without him, but very intrigued to see what the game plan is here and how they deploy all these weapons.
And also, last time we saw Joe Burrow without Jamar Chase's rookie year, his success at LSU with Cincy, for the most part, has all been interlinked. The rookie year wasn't great. Obviously, it was solid, but it wasn't like the guy we've seen since then. So, which is, which one's more valuable there? Obviously, we know which one's more valuable. Like, is he still going to be the same quarterback without those feathered in go balls?
We'll see. We'll have to see. Let's talk about some secret superstars. Let's look at this week's slate of games and see if we can identify some players that we're really caping on. Who's your first guy? Who do you think is going to break out this week? It doesn't have to be like a total sleeper we've never heard of, but who do you think is going to have a good performance this week?
I am going to go with Bills defensive end Gregory Rousseau, their first-round pick last year. Okay. He's actually been playing exceptionally well so far this season. 83.4 pass rushing grade so far on the year. 21 pressures so far. So, he's been doing it, just really hasn't gotten a ton of love. And he may be going up against a pair of backup now tackles in Zach Tom and Josh Nijman for the Green Bay Packers that struggle with their anchor. Greg Rousseau, 35-inch arms, long, bull rusher, pocket collapser off the edge, going up against two guys who, that's their weakness. That's what you worry about with those two guys, obviously, if they're in the lineup, if David Bakhtiari is not healthy. So I think you go off. Obviously, they're probably going to have to game plan around this, around him and Von Miller. But if you get some one-on-ones, Packers down, have to pass, there's only so much you can do. And Greg Rousseau may have a big one.
I'm going to go with Giants wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson. I think he's got a pretty good matchup this week, and he's been playing really good ball. I mean, the Seahawks secondary is not the greatest. I know that they've got Tariq Woolen, but I think that Tariq Woolen will probably be occupied most of the game with Darius Slayton, who is more of their deep threat. I don't think they're going to put Woolen on Wan'Dale Robinson. And instead, I think that the ball is going to find his hands a lot. I think that he has been really coming on these past couple of weeks. I know his snap count has increased, his targets have increased, his usage in the offense has increased as he has gotten healthier, and I think that he is going to be a big-time playmaker for him. When you look at last week, most targets, most catches, 50 receiving yards, just a little bit behind Darius Slayton, but he played 69% of the snaps, which I believe was a season high for him. So the usage is up all around for Wan'Dale Robinson, and I think it's advantageous for them to get that kind of a player, a potential low ADOT guy who you can get with a lot of yards after the catch. That can be the complement to the rushing game of, or I should just say ground game of Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones like we've seen over the last couple of weeks. So I think Wan'Dale and his skill set goes perfectly into what the Giants want to do. Might also go perfectly into where Seattle might be susceptible on defense. So I'm projecting another big game here from Wan'Dale.
Seattle's also susceptible everywhere on defense. I'm going to go.
Tariq, come on. Other Tariq.
I'm going to go.
What Tariq's doing.
I'm going to go with another Giant. Literally.
Oh.
And literally.
Oh.
Dexter Lawrence.
Literally and literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plays for Giants, and he's fucking huge.
This is a good one. Okay.
So, the nose tackle for the New York Giants, he's had a monster year. He has 15 pressures from the nose tackle position. He has more than that overall. I believe 21 overall. But 15 pressures, one lined up in the A-gap. You know who has the second most pressures? Actually, I don't even know who has second most pressures. But you know who?
Yeah,
actually, I do.
Yeah, do you know who has the second most pressures?
How many it is? It's on the screen there. It's 6. He has 9 more than any other nose tackle in the NFL.
Did you put an exclamation point in there?
Yeah. No
wow.
more. No one has more than 6.
You never do that.
He has been the single best pocket pusher on the nose in the NFL so far this season, and going up against a 298-pound center in Austin Blythe, a man who's been known throughout his career, whether it was with the Rams, obviously off the Colts, came out of Iowa, for his lack of anchor. So this could be a big day for Dexter Lawrence getting in Geno Smith's lapsy.
Dude, he's been awesome this year. He's been fantastic as a pass rusher, which has been great to see. All right, I got one more that we'll get to before we move on. We're gonna get to Ian Hartitz in a second, so I know that you guys love firing off some start-sit fantasy questions for him. So get those in your head. When we get Ian on, we'll tell you to fire him off in the chat, and we'll go a little rapid fire with him as we do that. But last one, Secret Superstar. You ready for this, Mike?
That's it.
Elijah Moore, baby.
Oh, is he
Elijah Moore? Okay. 0 catches in the last game that he played. Obviously missed last week because he demanded a trade and there was a lot going on. First play of the game. Play action. Short throw to Elijah Moore.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Elijah Moore on his couch at home.
No, he's playing. He's back. He's motivated.
Okay.
Him and LaFleur had an embrace at practice. It's all water under the bridge. You know, Elijah he just wants to contribute. Just wants to do his part for the team to win. Just wants to show the world what he's got. And he will. Play action.
In the Packers uniform.
Play action. Play action. First play of the game.
Okay.
Throw to Elijah Moore. That's what's going to happen. And that's going to be the
I hope so.
That's going to
He's
be
talented.
that's going to be the catalyst for a 5-target, 4-catch, 47-yard day.
Woo! Hang the banner. No, I mean, super talented. I do hope he gets featured more in that offense. Obviously, I hope the passing offense gets off the ground. I hope Zach Wilson starts playing better too. So he would be a big factor in that. All right, my last one.
Yep, you want more.
And it's a guy who also may not play this week. I don't even know. Obviously, he didn't play last week and has a rib injury that he's been hampering, but slated, most recent news, on track to play. J.C. Horn, Panthers cornerback. He has allowed 47 yards all season long. I repeat, 47 yards on 183 coverage snaps.
That's pretty nuts.
7 catches.
That is pretty nuts.
Not getting talked about because obviously he's out playing for the Carolina Panthers. And also because there's just nothing to talk about when you don't get catches. When you're not giving up anything, there's not a lot to say. So J.C. Horn's been fantastic. Matched up with Drake London this week. That is must-see TV, 2 top 10 picks.
Dude, he's
dogging it.
He's awesome.
2 number 8 overall picks, right? Am I correct in saying?
What was the other one? What'd you say? Oh, London.
Drake
Yeah.
London.
Yeah. Number 8. You know, you should cover the draft with that kind of draft knowledge.
I'm actually not sure that's true. I think it is. But.
No, London went 8. Yeah.
Okay.
And Horn went 8.
All right.
Come on,
Perfect.
say it with your chest.
I hate getting those wrong.
Mike, that's what TV's all about.
You can say it.
Even if you're wrong,
yeah,
you just got to say it with your chest. You just got to be confident about it. You know?
I'm finally getting over the heat in my mouth, too. That's helping.
So it took you this long?
Yeah.
You held it together pretty well. All right. Let's get to some fantasy football. Let's bring into the show our good friend, Ian Hartitz. Ian, I saw last night that the one and only PFF Lily, your wonderful dog, made a Thursday night pick, and it was, in fact, the Baltimore Ravens. So she is on it this week.
1-0 on the year. I got all these over this shoulder. You can see all those Bud Light beer cans. Remember about 5 years ago when they had them all different like neighborhoods and all that? One day I stumbled into a local Giant Eagle and I had mixed packs of all different NFL teams in like one pack of beer. I bought 3 of them. Had to keep all the cans for special, important, professional moments like this. I will say, guys, like the one weekend where me and a bunch of friends were drinking those. Best thing ever. You never forgot what beer was yours. You're like, oh, I'm drinking the Ravens right now. Of course, didn't just have 30 Bud Light cans scattered. So side note, might have an alcohol problem, but worry about that another day.
Look, if you know you're going to drink them eventually, then why not?
I was going to say, the only alcohol problem there is drinking Bud Light in the first place. The rest sounded great.
Oh, come on. Don't be like that. All right, everybody, fire off your start-sit questions for Ian. We'll get to him at the end of our start-sits that we have for him. And Ian, when I'm looking at your list right now, I see DJ Moore in the start list. Are we PJ Walker believers in here? Tell me about DJ Moore in the outlook.
XFL MVP. I've always been on the PJ Walker hype train, but look, more so it's about the fact that he's finally getting that concentrated volume. I mean, as much as we wanted DJ Moore to be the clear-cut number 1 guy ahead of Robbie Anderson, that wasn't the case under Matt Rule and just over the past few years. Christian McCaffrey obviously also out of the picture. So we have DJ Moore as the just overall easy number 1 pass game alpha here. You can argue he should have always been, but he wasn't. And now we're facing a Falcons secondary that already bad, like has allowed the most fantasy points per game to opposing wide receivers. And that was before they were this banged up. I mean, AJ Terrell, I don't want to hate on the guy because he is traveling with number 1 receivers this year. So when he allows the most touchdowns in the league with 7, it's like, well, you know what? A lesser corner probably wouldn't have gotten those assignments in the first place. But he's out with the hamstring most likely. We saw Jalen Hawkins not practicing with a concussion. Casey Hayward's on the IR. I think with the volume and the matchup, you can go back to DJ Moore this week.
I see that you, on your sit list, you have David Montgomery going up against the Cowboys defense, who we just had in our trivia yesterday. First-ranked pass rushing grade, but 28th ranked run defense grade. Why exactly are we sitting Montgomery this week?
Yeah, I'm just a little worried about this game script getting a little bit out of hand. Cowboys 9.5-point favorites. And the Khalil Herbert rise seems to be pretty real out there. You look at any and every rushing stat out there, it tells you Herbert is the better rusher. Now, I didn't want to be the guy that just, anoints the change of pace backup running back as more efficient because he's done it on lesser attempts. But I dug a little deeper, guys, and Herbert's actually faced the 8+ defenders in the box almost on 10% more of his runs than Montgomery this year. So he's actually been making more, arguably, out of less than Montgomery. Now, D-Mount is a little bit better in terms of PFF pass blocking grade and things he can do as a receiver, but I think more and more this is looking like a 50-50 backfield split in a matchup where they're implied to score a week low 16.5 points. So I'm sure the Bears are going to try to run the ball this weekend because when do they not try to do that? Only Arthur Smith is out there trying to run the rock a little more often, but with Montgomery, the way his role's setting up, he's way more of a touchdown-dependent RB2 these days. Don't anticipate this Bears offense scoring too many touchdowns this weekend.
Yeah, you guys are seeing all the graphics that we're throwing up there while Ian is kind of analyzing what our questions are. That's straight from the PFF app if you guys don't have it. And you got an Apple device, go to the App Store, type in PFF, Pro Football Focus, and you can have that and all the great fantasy tools right in the palm of your hand. Ian, I see you got Chris Olave in the start list here. Obviously, Ohio State guy, so I know that you're 100% biased in that. No, but seriously, Chris Olave has already established himself as a big-time deep threat in the NFL. It seems like you believe that he's more than just this like boom or bust guy who is completely a deep threat receiver. Yeah?
Yeah, man, I just looked at Mike's awesome heat map he tweeted out the other day. That was some cool stuff. Shout out to Timo and the gang for making those type of things possible on the back end. But with Olave this year, I thought going from Jameis to Dalton could hurt. I thought it was going to be really good for Alvin Kamara, which it has been. But really, man, seeing Olave still keeping on here over the last 3 weeks, PPR wide receiver 17, wide receiver 18, and wide receiver 13. The guy can do it all out there. And just the ability, I think Brian Hartline, Ohio State's amazing wide receiver coach, mentioned it with Olave. He's like, what you're getting with this guy is he's always going to have a good release. He's always going to challenge you downfield, and he's always going to be fighting inside those blind spots. So that really seems to be the thing he does out there. Just he can run more routes, but when you're as okay, fine, I'll say smooth. I got about 30 seconds into the Olave analysis, but when you're as smooth as that dude is on the outside, and you have that long speed, it's just you don't need to really be used in the underneath intermediate areas of the field as much when you're that dominant on the outside. So hasn't mattered with the quarterback. Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, still not any closer to getting back out there. And low-key, this Saints defense battling some injuries, but they've been bad. This Saints team is a lot closer, I think, to the Seahawks, just in terms of having a pretty damn good offense and not so much of a defense that maybe we're giving credit for. And that's what we want in fantasy football. We don't want these passing offenses getting up and winning by 30. Right. We prefer they're down by 30 and getting those sweet, sweet garbage points, because we don't really judge style points. We leave that to the PFF grades.
Should we get into start sit?
Yeah, go ahead. You can fire him off.
Let's get into start sit from chat. Cool. First one, tight end position. Dalton Schultz or Robert Tonyan?
Dalton Schultz is so banged up right now. Shout out to that dude for even getting up last week. I'm going to go Robert Tonyan here. Shout out to the Packers for really starting to break their kind of usual tight end rotation. I hope they make a move for Mike Gesicki in this trade deadline and just put him as the big slot that dude was put on this earth to be. But yeah, for this week, Robert Tonyan, where else are they going to throw the ball?
Okay, so this isn't a start and sit, but I see a lot of people in the chat are talking about it. What are your thoughts about Kadarius Toney going to the Kansas City Chiefs? What's your thoughts there overall with like Toney and then like the whole offense itself?
It's fantastic. I mean, top 10 last year, yards per route run, yards after the catch per reception. You can say it was just the Cowboys game. I don't know, man. Saints game looked pretty good too, and looked like he was on his way to going for 200 against the Rams before he got hurt early in that first quarter. So I believe it was Mike's awesome PFF college draft guide where he said that Toney would be his pick to win a game of tag among like everyone out there. And that seems to kind of be the big kind of missing part of this Chiefs offense. Mecole Hardman, 3 touchdowns last week. I'm not trying to slander him necessarily, but I feel like he just doesn't have the same stop-start ability as Toney. And that really is scary if you're going to add that sort of playmaking ability with the ball in his hands to this group. So we do have 2 big ifs. Is he healthy? Which, based on that deleted tweet, it certainly seems that he is. And can he get that full-time role out there? Conditional 3rd and a 6th-round pick tells me they didn't trade for this guy just to sit him on the bench. So pick him up. God forbid that there is a league sleeping and he's still out there. Definitely want him on the rosters. He's not going to be a recommended start next week because we're not sure how this is going to break down. But if things break his way, he certainly looks like the most talented wide receiver in that room. And if he starts being treated like it, we have Patrick Mahomes under center. I do think his best case scenario is in fantasy land as a top upside wide receiver too, if those things break his way. Again, we got some big ifs out there, but it's exciting. Like, we don't see players, even if it is a small sample size, be this good. It's even smaller than the Amon-Ra St. Brown stuff, but I think we're just a little too quick sometimes to dismiss excellent performances, and Toney had several last season.
We going Terry McLaurin or Wan'Dale Robinson at wide receiver?
Still Terry. I mean, took Jair Alexander to the woodshed last week. Is that the last time? I mean, it took them like 2 years to decide to have Jair shadow anybody, and then Terry does that to him in the first time since like week 7, 2022. Unfortunately for Terry, now he's got Stephon Gilmore coming up. So Wan'Dale's been doing some good things. Full PPR, it is closer than like standard, but I still think that their target distribution is pretty similar. As much as everyone wants Wan'Dale Robinson to happen, like Darius Slayton's going out there making his thing happen too. Yeah. And I don't know, like, is Wan'Dale Robinson just innately more talented than Slayton because he was a 2nd-round pick this year? I like to think that Slayton, 8 touchdowns, that's a rookie back in the day, might have something there. So give me Terry overall volume and just a better overall wide receiver.
All right, you got to pick one out of these 3. Courtland Sutton, Brandon Ayuk, or Christian Kirk. He just says PPR, so I think it's full point PPR. Sutton, Ayuk, Kirk.
If Deebo Samuel is ruled out, which it looks like he probably will be, I don't think he's practiced at all this week with that hamstring injury, I would go Ayuk. If not, I would go Christian Kirk. Really tough matchup in the London game, 9:30, so make sure you get those Broncos, Jaguars players in or out those lineups on Saturday so you can sleep in if you're into that kind of thing on Sunday. But luckily with Kirk, he should avoid Patrick Surtain II just from the friendly confines of the slot. We see that a lot around the league. Same thing with Jacoby Myers this week against the Jets, not anticipating Sauce Gardner being too much of an issue for him because they just don't really move these top outside cornerbacks inside all that often. So I'll take Kirk if Deebo's playing. If not, fire up Ayuk in a passing game that's low-key looked pretty good over these past 2 weeks. Like somehow, like it's Jimmy Garoppolo in like primetime games, just people should put their phones down. Like he was the problem for that 49ers defense giving up 6 straight touchdowns or whatever it was second half last week. So Jimmy G in this passing game has looked pretty good, weapons all over the place. And if you take away one of those key cogs, all of a sudden we can start getting that volume condensed more than ever, which is good for fantasy football.
This is the last one. This is from our chat champ yesterday, Safety 30. He said, can I get a hard target search of every locker room, film room, training room, field room, and weight room for missing persons? The name is A.J. Dillon. What are we making of A.J. Dillon the rest of the season here?
I thought we were going to talk some Will Fuller. I was getting excited. But with Dillon, look, it hasn't been good, and they are seemingly transitioning to Aaron Jones. Deservedly so. He's been better as a rusher and receiver really all season. The receiving part's the one that killed me. Before last week when they really finally started featuring Jones as the receiver, Jones had the target lead, but it was only 23-20. I mean, a lot of us were just expecting Jones to be the more or less number one receiver on this offense, and they finally started to somewhat make that switch last week. But with Dillon, especially in this matchup, I mean, this is nightmare fuel here. Like the idea behind Dillon was the fact that the Packers could keep on winning, get up in games, and then just ride out games with him running out the clock. But the problem is when you're facing the Bills as 10-point dogs, that would seemingly be game script where he's just not even going to be on the field enough to touch the ball. So we can't start Dillon now or honestly until we see this backfield get back to a 50-50 split. Doesn't mean you should cut him though, because Dillon is one injury away to Aaron Jones, not that we would ever wish that upon anyone, from being, the legit top 10 running back the rest of the way. We can live with these two running back backfields, and it gets frustrating sometimes. You guys, we were talking about Travis Etienne 3-4 weeks ago. I said the same thing. Did not know James Robinson was going to be traded, but when you have these guys that have 3-down skill sets, we've seen their team use them in that fashion, and they are only one injury away. Those are the guys you want to hold on to no matter what. Not every handcuff is created equal. A.J. Dillon, sky-high upside. God forbid Aaron Jones misses a game.
Ian, you're the best, man. Enjoy the weekend, my friend.
Appreciate you guys. Those Nittany Lions are dead.
I was wondering what the Ohio State tag would be as he gets out of here. Before we get out of here, we got to get to some bold predictions. We're giving you guys a lot of games to watch, some player performances to look out for, and now it's time to get bold at the end of the show. Mike, what is your bold prediction for the weekend?
I initially was going to say Tom Brady retires, but now it feels a little like...
Did you actually have Tom Brady retires?
It feels a little
You literally have
sad.
Tom Brady retires mid-season.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that on the show.
I'm going to go...
You absolute jackass.
With P.J. Walker. It feels like the wrong time now. P.J. Walker stays hot, and the Panthers move into first place in the NFC South this week.
Wow. So you're taking the Panthers.
Panthers.
All right. Well, I'm taking the Lions, baby. Lions taking on the Miami Dolphins. We're not talking spread. I'm talking money line. I think the Lions win this football game. You know what happens, Mike, when you drop a lion into the middle of nowhere and they have to activate their survival instincts? They eat. That's what they do, Mike. 1-5, backs against the wall. They need this win. They actually really do need this win.
Learn from my mistakes, Trev.
They actually really need this win here. Yeah, but they were winning halftime. They were winning halftime against the Cowboys, and then the Jared Goff experience went off the rails. And look, I think the Lions win this game because they have to. There have been a handful of instances, I think, throughout the season where when Tua has been out there, he hasn't necessarily paid for some of the errant throws that he has made.
That's true.
I'm not saying he's just been catastrophically terrible, but he has not paid the price for some of those errant throws that he has thrown this season. I think that catches up to him a little bit this weekend. I think the Lions are opportunistic with the turnovers, and I think the Lions get the dub this weekend.
Hey, it's bold. It is bold.
All right, that's what I'm going with. Do we have bold predictions? Bonker says eat kneecaps. Let's go, baby. AC says T. Higgins has a 150 in one game? Oh, so 100. Okay, 150 yards and one touch. I thought I was saying and one catch. I was like, I don't think he can do that. I'm not the best at math, but I don't think that he can go 150 in one catch. But he's saying 150 and one touchdown. I think that's a good prediction. I don't think that's even too bold. Beardman says the Bears are going above the Packers in the NFC North this weekend. Can they? The Bears win, Packers lose?
Yeah. I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, Mike.
Let's not talk about that one.
Come on, man. Quell says Irv Smith will have more targets, receptions, and yards than Justin Jefferson this week. Roll Tide.
That is bold.
Roll Tide.
Yeah.
Is there another one in here? Goff is greater than Tua. That is a bold prediction, but I agree with you.
Leftwich fired. This is another bold prediction.
Leftwich is fired before next game. I just don't.
Tom Brady comes OC?
I don't know if they're going to do it, man.
Tom Brady comes OC and head coach.
And owner. And GM.
Yeah.
Just like he wanted to be in Miami.
In Miami, yeah.
Abel Fett says Sam Ehlinger gets a dub in the first career start. They're playing the Commanders. How do we feel about it?
Ooh,
it's at home. It's in Indy.
That one's not particularly bold. I could see it very well happening.
Yeah, I actually like that call. That's actually a pretty good call. John's bold call is the Raiders blow out the Saints. We believe in the Raiders' arc here, going all the way up. Patrick says bold prediction. Grandma goes back in the game.
Yeah, she loves it there.
Oh, just throw the ball to Kyle Pitts, man. Just throw it to him. All right, well, we've got a fun, interactive way for you guys to take your bold predictions or our bold predictions and make some money off of it. We got a new partner here on this show, Bro Throw, BROTHROW. If you've never been to BroThrow.com, this is how it goes, okay? Normally, you go to a book, and you've got to juice a bet to make money, right? You've got to bet $11 to make 10. That's how the book always makes money. But at BroThrow is different. They're completely independent from all books, and it is basically this. Mike and I are sitting on the couch watching TV. Lions are playing the Dolphins. I say to Mike, hey, bet you $10 the Lions win. And you go, all right, I'll take it. That is exactly what BroThrow is. You just, instead of being able to do that on a couch, you can do that with anybody in the world. Head to BroThrow.com/PFF. This is such a cool concept. I want you guys to get involved in it. Create an account, and if you use that link, if you go to BroThrow.com/PFF, you will then be in the show's group. So all you guys in the chat who are becoming this giant It's Just Football family, who it's incredible to be able to see that. If y'all go into this chat, you can then bet against one another. So you can talk within the chat and be like, oh, that's not going to happen. This is going to happen. This team's going to win. You go spread, over, under, or money line. Those are the things that you can bet on. They don't have prop bets yet. But if you go there right now and you create an account, and if you think I'm high as a kite for thinking that the Detroit Lions are going to win this game, you can bet me on it. I've got an open bet right now, and that's how it goes. It's not like, oh, I think the Bucs are going to cover the spread, so I'm just going to bet this. In BroThrow, it's a little different. You've got to find somebody who accepts the bet. Works by you connect your PayPal, you can connect your Cash App. They've got a bunch of different ways that you can get involved with it. And you basically open a bet. It'll be super easy once you get to the website. You can see exactly how to break it down and how to do it. But like, if Mike goes to it, Mike will say, oh, I think the Panthers are going to win. So he will go to the Panthers game. He'll go to the money line. He'll select the Panthers. He'll select what money he's putting down, and then he will open the bet. You guys can see it right there. That's live on the website. So you can go to it, and you can take Mike's bet right now if you think he's crazy. And you could take that as the odds are there. He put $5 on the line. He wins $750. You got to put $750, I think, to win the $5 back. But you could take the bet right there. And then that bet is, I don't want to say it's settled, but like, then that's locked. Nobody else can bet you on it. It's just like a one-in-one transaction with you and somebody else around the world that you think you can get some money off.
It's basically like you can become either your own bookmaker.
Yeah.
Where you start a book and say, here's the line. I put the line for that game at plus 150 because I believe in the Carolina Panthers. But then you put a dollar amount so you don't, lose your shirt. Like I sometimes do what I bet.
Just wanted to interrupt here. Mm-hmm. Trevor's bet is no longer takeable because I took him up on it.
Oh, so you got it? You took it?
I do not think that the Lions are going to win. I think the Lions stink, and I'm so far in Trevor's head that I think it's going to carry over to this.
Oh, my God.
And that I'm going to win that. Also, link is in the description.
Okay.
For anybody who wants to join in. I have a bet there. for the Raiders. So if anybody wants to take me on that spread and thinks Saints are going to win, but yeah, I'm going head to head against Trevor. So
we are logging back, and we want to bet with you guys. Like that's a way for us to get more connected with you guys and what you guys think about the NFL, what we think is about the NFL. So we would love to have you guys sign up. We would love to have you guys get some bets active. It would be a really cool way for us to get some skin in the game while talking some football with you guys. So Eli's challenging me this week. Eli's picking up my bet this week, and you better believe that one of the first things that we're talking about on Monday morning is me waving my cold hard cash around Eli's face when the Detroit Lions pull it off this weekend.
My buddy actually had this idea for this in 2014, but he was too lazy to actually go and try to do it. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And now Bro Throws
killing it. So.
Doing it better.
Yeah.
Actually putting it to life.
Yeah.
Imagine that. It's a really cool concept.
It is, yeah.
I love it. I heard of it a couple of weeks ago. I'm so glad that we're partnering with them. It's a really cool thing. And again, we'd love for you guys to get involved. So go to brothrow.com/PFF. It's easy. BROTHROW.com/PFF. That's how it's done. You're about to catch a plane, aren't you?
Yeah. Going down to Florida for a week. See my parents.
See my folks.
Yep.
Mike's not going to be here next week.
I might be in the chat still.
You should be in the chat. Yeah. Be in the chat, but you won't be on the desk. We'll have some, you know what? I'm not going to give it away. We're going to have some special guests.
Yes.
We're going to have some special guests on the show next week to fill it, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Before we get out of here, what is the answer to the question of the day? How many times have the Jacksonville Jaguars played over in London? They play there this week. I'm going 8. 8's my final answer here. I think 8's solid.
I went 10.
10's a lot, brother.
Yeah.
10's a lot.
We'll see.
10's a lot.
What's the number?
What's the answer?
So, Trevor, you said 8. Mike said 10. The answer is 8. We have a conspiracy theory back here that Trevor's cheating.
Yeah, back-to-back correct answers.
This is 2 back-to-back. You were
because
correct
I'm better than you?
Twice in a row.
You're supposed to be the trivia guy and I'm better than you?
No, I didn't say that. They said that.
You're the one who robbed us of trivia when I
no.
wanted Javonte Williams and you wanted the guy who wasn't Javonte Williams, so I don't remember.
That you're cheating. They're saying you're cheating. I don't think you're cheating. I'm looking at your computer screen right now. You haven't done anything. So.
Yeah.
I don't think you're cheating. They do. They said that.
Everybody who guessed 8.
We also won trivia.
Along with me.
Well done.
Everybody who guessed 8.
Well
I'm
done.
in your head, Eli. If you're coming up with questions today, which you're not. Actually, Quinn is. Do you have a chat champ for today? Who do we got? Felipe, I'm not cheating.
We do. Chat champ is Philip Cross.
Philip?
Got it right. Got the answer right. Nail on the head.
Dub.
I don't want to clap too loud, but Philip, you know what that means.
Gotta be back Monday.
Got to be back on Monday. You got to represent the people. You got to be the chat champ. You got to wear the crown on Monday's show. It's a jam-packed show. We cover the NFL as much as we possibly can, wall to wall. So you got to be here for it to represent the chat and the people. Drake, can Trevor not just be smart? I am smart. Thank you, Drake. And thank you to everybody else who watched the show. We had a blast this week. Hopefully you guys did as well. For Trevor Sikkema, for Mike Renner, for everybody in the production suite, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you back right here at 11 a.m. on Monday morning. We'll see you then.
It's not about politics, it's about football.
This is a simple game.
We're going to run the ball, and we're going to pass the ball. He's just going to play football, really.
How good of a football player are you?
Not just get it and try to spin it. That's all.
I just love the game.
It really is the best time of the year.